Multi-millionaire Diane McIver shot dead in her car. Now it's up to a jury. Was Diane's death an accident or a murder? For 7 excruciating weeks of testimony, Diane's husband, Tex McIver, sits on pins and needles in an Atlanta courtroom, occasionally brought to tears, as prosecutors lay out their evidence of what they say is Tex's ruthless motive for killing Diane: money.
On Diane's death, he went from negative $5,000 to over $1.1 million cash instantly. And he was the executor and one of the beneficiaries of Diane's $7 million estate.
But Tex's potential windfall wasn't a sure thing. The DA alleges Diane planned to foreclose on the $350,000 loan she made to Tex.
This wasn't a, hey, you can pay me back whenever you get the money. This was an actual loan with a promissory note.
After that, she'd turn around and gift Tex's extravagant ranch to Diane's godson, 7-year-old Austin Schwall.
And Diane loved Austin so much, she would never draft a will without Austin being included in it.
Authorities say that's something Tex wasn't about to let happen.
The easiest way for him to gain control was to kill Diane.
As prosecutors lay out more evidence of premeditated murder, they've got a couple of tricks up their sleeves.
And what happened next?
She said, "Tex, you shot me."
First on the stand, star witness Danny Jo Carter. She's been tight-lipped during the investigation. But now Danny Jo's opening up about that terrible day with a blow-by-blow recreation of that final car ride.
I heard a big boom, and I didn't know what it was. I thought there was an explosion somewhere, or somebody behind us was getting ready to hit us, or something had happened behind us. I did not realize that it was a gunshot right away.
Even though she was just inches away from the gunfire, she didn't really know Diane had been shot.
This was all happening in seconds, and I saw a puff of smoke, and I could see his hands, and I could see the top of the gun, I could see part of the gun, his hands, and some of the bag. And his hand was moving like this. I thought it was a joke, and then I realized it wasn't.
Danny Jo says she quickly knew those harrowing minutes after Tex shot Diane were a matter of life and death. As she raced to Emory Hospital, she could hear Diane's life quickly slipping away in the front seat.
She started making these noises that I've never heard before, and I thought she was dying. They were horrible noises.
She shocked the court, testifying Tex actually told her to slow down while directing her to the ER.
Told me I needed to be careful, that there might be people out there walking with baby carriages.
At trial, this surveillance video shows Tex waving Danny Jo to the front of the ER, then helping his wife Diane into a wheelchair. His defense team claims just before Diane died, she told doctors it was all an accident. But according to Danny Jo, it was Tex's words at the hospital that night that had the biggest impact. Specifically, when he pulled her aside just out of earshot of police officers and said this:
I don't trust these guys. Danny Jo, I hate to see you get wrapped up in this. I've seen how these things can go down. You just need to say you came down here as a friend of the family. I said, Tex, I just drove you into the emergency room.
And then did he say something in response to that?
He looked at me and he says, well, they don't know that.
Did Tex just ask Danny Jo to lie to cops?
And what did you say back to him?
I said, I can't lie.
But what happens next really raises suspicions. Tex holes up in the couple's high-rise condo, a mystery woman by his side.
Did you do massages at the condo in Buckhead?
Yes.
For years, Annie Anderson was Tex and Diane's fitness coach and massage therapist. And authorities are asking what was she doing staying at Tex's condo just one day after Diane died on an operating room table. Was Tex already looking for love?
In its opening arguments, the state planted a seed in the jurors' minds about Tex having an affair with his masseuse, Annie Anderson.
The defense cries foul and puts Annie on the stand to get the record straight.
Were you concerned about Tex McIver's well-being?
In many ways.
Were you concerned about his safety?
Yes. We honestly weren't sure what state of mind he had.
Annie says Tex's state of mind was guilt-ridden and distraught, and sex was the furthest thing from his mind.
Did you ever have a romantic relationship with Tex McIver?
Never.
Did you ever perform a massage on him any time in the months following the death of his wife, Diane, in which he was naked?
1000% never.
Did you ever at any time, and I'm talking about any time before Diane McIver's death or after her death, engage in any sexual conduct, however you want to define it, with Tex McIver?
Never.
Besides, Texas defense team says none of the prosecution's allegations made any difference.
It was an accident. That's what happened in the car that night. Another woman? The masseuse. Why don't they have a motive that makes any sense?
For days, the jury huddles over the case, even sitting in Tex and Diane's SUV to reenact the shooting. Was this an accident or cold, calculated murder? When jurors come back with a decision, it's a shocker.
You got a verdict?
Next, the verdict is in. Or is it?
This trial lasted much longer than expected. From the very beginning, the prosecution was criticized for having a weak case.
But as trial watchers wait breathlessly for the jury's decision, the moment of truth is put on hold.